All right, guys. So we are group two, and our diversity handbook that we did is about the company Facebook. I'm Alec Volz. I'm going to start off the presentation, and everybody else will follow after me. So basically, with company background, Facebook was started in 2004. Obviously, that's pretty well-known information. Mark Zuckerberg is the man behind Facebook. He started at Harvard in his dorm room and everything. Basically, some of the products that we also discussed in our handbook, there's a mobile and in-app browser now. Everybody's on their phone nowadays, and Facebook is very easy to use on your phone. Also includes Messenger, Instagram, Spark AR audio, and audience networks. In regards to size, there's about 2.3 to 2.5 billion users active. That number fluctuates because some people have Facebook and then they don't are active every day, but then also there's over 1 billion users on mobile, which ties back into the mobile and in-app browser being very useful for Facebook. Some profits that they also discussed that I found when I was researching, it's somewhere around $7 billion, which is a pretty large number for a company to have in today's norms and everything. And then the final thing is the business strategy. They work on 4 principles that they kind of use these and then they stem off of them. So the 4 principles are focus on user experience, growth via acquisitions, new product development, and exploring new ways of monetization. So the goal of our diversity handbook, basically it starts off with a mission statement that's pretty common for most companies nowadays: increase their numbers of diverse employees within the company. Obviously, the main audience for Facebook is the users that are actually using their app on a day-to-day basis. They want to help build products, develop policies, and serve the people the best way possible. There's 2 excluded groups as well that were found, and they were women and people of color, and people from all backgrounds depend on Facebook to connect with one another. Facebook's probably the best app going right now, with being able to connect from people all around the world at your fingertips. Very easy to do. Going on to cultural background, Facebook has definitely struggled a little bit with diversity, with employing women and men and women of color throughout their ranks, like going throughout since they started as a company. Women employment went from 36.3% in 2018 to 36.9% in 2019, while Black and Hispanic workers combined went from 8.4 just to 9%. And in our world today, those numbers just aren't good enough. And then Facebook's mission statement is to make the world more open and connected. I think this mission statement is pretty good. They definitely live up to it, and they need to continue to do that with the connecting people from wherever you are in the world. Next up, Austin is going to start talking, and he's going to continue the presentation.
All right, guys. So some of the things that they've done to combat diversity issues is Facebook has flown some of its employees to places like Mississippi, Oakland, California to discuss racial issues in America. Maxine Williams, which is currently their global chief diversity officer, has said that the announcing of their goal publicly, which was the charts that we have within our global diversity handbook, which you saw some of the percentages in the early slides, was a necessary risk in the company's first step into achieving their goal of maximizing their diversity. And in Facebook's corporate culture, it uses a strategic hiring process that ensures all new hires must meet a certain criteria and set through the company values. So that might be where they have a little bit of issues with diversity, because they might not have a certain person of color meeting what they think they want in their company's values. The legal framework would be, there are no specific articles of that Facebook that does not provide equal employment, but shown in their diversity reports that they are still struggling to get the excluded groups represented well within their company. They did increase their employment of the excluded groups, but it's still not enough to where they want to get it. Facebook does indeed have a problem, though, with diversity within their company, but will continue to try to get better as much as they possibly can. And the company is showing that they will continue to employ all races, religions, and genders equally, even though it's not shown in their data. And some labor market characteristics are both women and people of color, even not just in Facebook, but I guess since we're just talking about Facebook here, we'll keep it to Facebook. Are women and people of color often prejudiced in the workplace? Women are often labeled as hysterical or rude when trying to voice an opinion. People of color are looked down and deemed less than because they're because they are different than Caucasian people. According to the National Bureau of Economic Research, job applicants with white names needed to send about 10 resumes to get one callback, while with those with African American names needed to send around 15 resumes to get one callback. A diverse workplace will help organizations better understand target demographics and what moves them, and this will lead to more profits for Facebook, but in general, the working company. And I'm going to let Janelle go for the next few slides.
All right, so to start off with Facebook's current diversity strategy, in 2014, Facebook launched an effort to bring about more diversity in the company and has slowly increased its diversity since then. As you guys saw, though, it wasn't very much. A report showed the number of female employees increased from 36.3% in 2018 to 36.9% in 2019, while Black and Hispanic workers combined went from 8.4% to just 9%. This year, Facebook announced a plan to double its number of female employees globally and Black and Hispanic employees in the US by 2024. Mark Zuckerberg says about diversity, to bring the world closer together, diversity is a must-have for Facebook, not an option. Hiring people with different backgrounds and experiences help us build better products, make better decisions, and better serve our clients. We're committed to building a workforce that is as diverse as communities we serve, and strive to provide the best possible care and resources to help all employees thrive at work, in their personal life, and across every life stage. So to start off with some diversity strategy recommendations, we have some barriers. So one of the barriers that we came up with were the headlines that Facebook seems to be bad affecting the employees. So basically, each employee gets affected by the negative stories and headlines that are discussed for the company. This happens with most companies in our world, but Facebook has seen some of the worst headlines written about them. Another barrier would be that employees deal with engagement decline with the newsfeed. So regarding this, if Facebook takes a declining number and applies it to the company, there are jobs lost. This decline translates to the morale of employees being lower as well. So the employees can start to feel a decline in the trust that they have together and within the company. So as stated before, it can lead to a loss of jobs and they don't trust the tech that they're using. And then another one would be the practices that we had identified. So one practice could be to create a safe workplace where employees can communicate any issues anonymously. This better helps the employees, more of the female employees, to feel included and not as scared to report an incident that happened in the workplace. This can also be used to create new ideas if people feel uncomfortable giving their ideas in front of others, and they feel they might get berated or made fun of for their ideas. Most times, male employees will dominate the conversation. So for employees that don't have a chance to speak up or didn't feel comfortable, this gives them another alternative to give ideas. And then another practice that can be used would be connecting with the community. Not only does this give the company a chance to interact with the entire community, but they get the chance to meet their coworkers' families and close friends, and they get to connect on that personal level. I feel this method would work best for people of color to feel more included. Their company showing initiative to want to know their culture and be a part of their community, it can make them feel safer and more comfortable within their workplace. And then I came up with some new strategies, suggestions for policies put in place. So a new policy could be to create involvement in conversations. Since conversations about gender equality in the workplace continue, it's important for men to know feminist movements and what they mean. We also need people to educate the men in the workplace on why they need to care about these movements, such as the #MeToo movement. This will greatly help the female employees feel more included and respected in the workplace. Another policy would be creating a culture within the workplace. This enables incentives for action. Businesses want to raise awareness to employees that are unaware of the bias within their workplace, and they want to change them. The main goal is to communicate the employees that they need to speak up about their expectations and what they want from their workplace and to get them. So now I'm gonna toss it over to Libby.
Okay, so obviously, you know, there needs to be a way to go about getting these workplaces to be a little bit more diverse. But however, there are going to be a few costs when it comes to what we've recommended. So obviously, you're going to have to, you know, hire someone who's kind of more so of an expert about these different training methods, and that would probably cost between $2,000 and $5,000. And that's just for a one-day diversity program. So that could cost the company kind of a lot of money. I mean, I know they are a very wealthy company, but you never, you know, you never want to have to spend a bunch of money on something. However, this is pretty important. It is definitely a really large company, but yeah, like I said, sorry, my okay, sorry, my internet is like being weird. Anyway, so some employees like may not like these implementations in the workplace. They might boycott it or they might quit just because they are so offended. You know, diversity programs can tend to offend some people who kind of don't really know what they're about. And then also another cost would be time lost by or from the company that could be used to, you know, maybe make the company better elsewhere. However, we think that it's really important and productive to implement these costs. Okay, and then here's some of the benefits, which we already know that the benefits will be, you know, aiding against discrimination and stereotyping, but it'll also create like a learning environment, and it will help to kind of bring everybody into the conversation, and, you know, more diverse environments lead to more productive employees, especially with more diverse employees. And then also, it tends to make companies more money. So we actually found a statistic that tech companies made more money when they had a more diverse environment rather than a less diverse environment. And then also, companies in the top quartile for racial and ethnic diversity are 35% more likely to have financial returns above their respective national industry medians. So again, like, the more diverse a company is, the more likely they are to make more money. And so that's definitely a monetary benefit. And I think that wraps everything up. So thank you to everybody for listening. And we hope that everybody's doing well.